What is a routine between starts for you? What happens in those days in between?
So usually the day after I pitch, it's weird sometimes now because we have 6 guys in the rotation, so it'll be, sometimes it'll be 7 days instead of 5 or a 6 day. But the day after I pitch, I usually try to do lower body lift. So try to crush my legs as much as possible so that I'm as far as possible away from my start, so I have time to recover. Long conditioning and recovery, that type of stuff to get my body into just recovery mode. The second day, depending on how many days, it might be a bullpen day. If not, it's kind of just an extra day in there. I might do a circuit or something, but the second day I'll usually throw a bullpen and then do upper body. Upper body lift, still condition the same, and I kind of try to use my conditioning as like a nervous system, something to help my nervous system, which the strength guys have talked to me a lot about. And then the day 3, I'll do a circuit, just kind of trying to get my body in the right patterns and, get my body moving a little more, getting closer to the start. And then day before my start, I really only do, like 8 to 10 sprints outside, which is something, I've heard a lot about. I heard Pedro Martinez used to do that actually, but I also know here we're a big believer in the sprints the day before you start, trying to get your body moving and up and ready to go for the start. So yeah, that's kind of the routine, how it works out.
When did you learn, I gotta have some legs here, man? I need my trunks to be strong. When did you learn that?
Honestly, I didn't really lift until I got to college. I wasn't too knowledgeable about that side of things, and then in college even I was doing more just with the standard lifts, not really, pitching specific stuff, more just straight power and squats and that type of thing, which it's great if you're trying to just build a base, but I think for pitchers, like lunges and that type of thing, depending on what kind of thrower you are, I'm a little more knee over toe with how I throw, so less of the deadlift type of stuff and more quad dominant movements, but yeah.
You know what, let's get a little bit into bullpens.
Yeah.
Bullpens are not just like throw, see how you feel. Now there's reads, there's feedback coming back. What does a bullpen now for you in between starts look like?
I've started to, throw a little harder in my bullpens and give a little more intent recently. I think that's helped with just finding the command in game with that type of intent. The further, slower you move and slower you throw in the bullpen, I think it's harder to maybe get that same feel in the game and hit your spots. But really right now it's all about sequencing and being able to keep guys off balance and do different things, and it'll change a little bit here and there depending on what lineup we're facing going into the next start, but for the most part it stays pretty much the same.
What kind of guy are you day of start? As you wake up, what's the routine like? Are you quiet, one of those guys you want to be talked to, or what?
I'd say I'm on the quieter side, but I'm not like a guy that you can't talk to or anything. I definitely try to just relax until closer to game time. I think, when I'm too, hyped up in my head about the start too early in the day, it can take some energy mentally away from you. So I try to just, relax until I really have to get going and then try to get, up after that.
Take me through the mentality of you, 50,000 people here at Dodger Stadium, taking those steps to get to the mound. What is that like for you?
It's awesome. It's like the best feeling in the world, honestly. When I first came up, I couldn't really appreciate it because I was just, nervous, I think, and hadn't pitched in front of people before, so it was weird. But now I'm starting to be able to appreciate it more, and the fans definitely fuel, what we do out there, and it's a great feeling.
Let's go back to what really matters. Family.
Yeah.
Mom, she would play catch with you. At what age and how often did this guy happen?
Yeah, she was like my first catch partner. All growing up, she would, go out in the front yard or go to the park and play catch. And then I started to throw a little harder and she didn't want to play catch anymore. But no, she was great. And over COVID, I didn't, have too many people to play catch with or help me with stuff. So we were trying to do a project where we build like a mound in our backyard, and it didn't really end up working out, but she helped a lot with that. So she's been awesome. She's helped me so much with my career.
When you think about those, including your family, that helped you the most, that don't have the bigger names, who comes to mind?
It's kind of just everyone. Everyone's we weren't like a huge baseball family really, like no one's played in college or pro ball before, but they've really embraced it, and they all watch the games back on the East Coast and stay up late to watch, which I really appreciate. They all text me, that night or the next day saying great job, or, get them next time, that type of thing. So either way, doesn't matter how I pitch, they're always in my corner, so that's really nice to have.
Some guys say, I don't want to pitch the name on the bag, but did you have a moment or two where you go, I cannot believe I'm pitching to X hitter?
Yeah, there's been a lot of those. I think the first one was probably Joey Gallo, like my third start, because the Astros I faced in my second start, but I had faced Altuve in the minors, so that was really cool. But I'd faced him before, so I was, it wasn't as crazy. And then seeing Joey Gallo up there was pretty wild for me. He's a legend, and there's been too many of them to mention for sure.
Let's talk about the game here in the dugout. What do you like to watch? Who you're watching? Your team, the opposing team hitters, and who do you talk to the most in between starts?
I mean, I've really tried to be more observant of what guys are trying to do on the mound and what their approach is to getting guys out. Try to, realize what they're doing well sometimes and what's not working sometimes. I think that's really important for a starting pitcher because a lot of times on the days you're not pitching, you think maybe I can just hang out today, but there's always stuff to learn and work to be done even when you're just hanging out on the bench watching the game. Trying to get up for the guys for sure at all times and, cheer them on. But I think, I talk to our strength coaches a lot on the bench, actually. Kershaw is always great just for insight into the game and, talking to him about certain things guys are doing out there. He knows so much that you can ask him, like, hey, why did this work? What didn't this work? But, yeah, there's a ton of guys. Everyone's awesome.
What is the most important conversation you've had with Clayton Kershaw? Was it all pitching, about grips, or what else?
It's been a lot of things. I think the part that sticks out for me was the first time we played catch. That was just in Citi Field in 2023, and just seeing the slider come out of his hand and the fastball come out of his hand, and like how similar they look until they get 5 feet away from you. That was kind of a wake-up call for me, and it shows what he's trying to do out there, which is make a hitter wait until the last possible second to make a decision whether to swing or not. I think that type of thing is just something that has helped me a lot in my career. And guys sometimes try to chase like the huge break on pitches, but I think just making them, play off each other the right way is something that Kersh is amazing at and makes him, a legend. So I think that's something I picked up.
So my wife, the teacher, wants to know, as a youngster, you were which student? Front row, back, quiet, active? Which one were you?
I was probably towards the back. I don't think I was front row unless I really knew my stuff that day. But yeah, I wasn't like the best in school, but I did well enough where I could get by. And my mom put a big emphasis on just trying your hardest with everything. So especially school, if I didn't try my hardest, she knew, and she would get on me about it for sure.
So what message do you have for those teachers that actually were a factor and influence on you? What would you like to tell them?
Just thank you. I actually got a Instagram DM from my third grade teacher the other day who I hadn't talked to in I don't know how long it had been, 15 years. And he was saying I'm on his fantasy team, and he was just saying congratulations and how happy he was for me, and that was really cool to hear. So just thank you to all those people.
And lastly, for those kids getting drafted, showcasing, traveling, what is your message in terms of balancing life, sports, one sport, multiple sports, also with education?
I think the balance is super important. I was lucky because, like I said, we weren't a huge baseball family, and my mom wasn't the type of person to be put everything on how your performance is on the field. I think I was a late bloomer for sure. I didn't, basically play until my junior year of high school. I wasn't very good. And so I'd say it's just, realizing the good and the bad, working on what you're not good at, but also not beating yourself up too much about it because, down the road it could change, and it changed a lot for me. So it's a good perspective to have to try to just not get too caught up in the moment for sure.
We sincerely appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Awesome. Thank you.